Hi everyone, my name is Raina and this video is proudly presented by LANTITEPrep.com. So we're first going to be going through the LANTITE Literacy Practice Test and we'll be using the table below to answer the following 4 questions. So the table is supporting students. We're going to be looking at the type of support, number of students, positive outcomes and negative outcomes. And we've got here listed academic tutoring, counselling services, peer mentoring and financial assistance, with the number of students being 150, 120, 180, 100, with the positive outcomes 85%, 75%, 90% and 70%, and the negative outcomes is 15%, 25%, 10% and 30%. So we'll be using this table here to answer the following questions. So question 1, based on the table, which type of support has the highest percentage of positive outcomes? And we have some possible answers here below. A, academic tutoring, B, counselling services, and C, peer mentoring, and D, financial assistance. Now remember, these are reading questions, so we need to read the table up here to be able to answer the questions below here. So based on the table, I can see already that the type of support that has the highest percentage of positive outcomes is peer mentoring here. So answer C, peer mentoring. And that is because peer mentoring has the highest percentage of positive outcomes at 90%. Okay, so that one is C here. Now question 2, if 120 students received counselling services, how many of those students had a negative outcome? So let's look at it here, 120 students. That's 25%. So 25% of 120 students is 30 students. So the answer is question A. Okay, let's go to the third one. Which type of support had the smallest number of students receiving it? The smallest number of students is here, financial assistance. So we can see here that was the smallest number compared to the other support provided, like the other support types. So it is number D, letter D. Question 4, which statement is correct based on the information provided in the table? We have A, academic tutoring had the lowest percentage of positive outcomes. B, financial assistance had a higher percentage of negative outcomes than counselling services. And C, peer mentoring had fewer students than counselling services. And D, counselling services had a higher percentage of positive outcomes than academic tutoring. So let's have a look at which one is correct. I'm going to go with B, financial assistance had a higher percentage of negative outcomes than counselling services. So you can see there that financial assistance had a 30% negative outcome, which is higher than counselling services at 25. Okay. Use the information directly below to answer the next 2 questions. So we have a scenario here, the job application to the Australian Teachers Association. Jane Smith is applying for a teaching position with the Australian Teachers Association. The job description specifies that candidates must have a minimum of 3 years of teaching experience, a bachelor's degree in education, and a demonstrated ability to integrate technology into the classroom. The application process includes submitting a resume, a cover letter, and 2 professional references. The position also requires candidates to be available for weekend workshops and ongoing professional development. So question 5, which of the following qualifications would best support Jane's application for the position at the Australian Teachers Association? We have 4 possible answers here. A, Jane has 3 years of teaching experience, a bachelor's degree in education, and has led several technology integration workshops. B, Jane has completed a master's degree in education but has only 2 years of teaching experience. C, Jane has 5 years of teaching experience but no formal degree in education. And D, Jane has 2 years of teaching experience and a strong interest in educational technology but has not yet led any workshops. So we know based off reading this that A reflects Jane the most. So So Jane has 3 years of teaching experience, a bachelor's degree in education, and has led several technology integration workshops. So it's what meets it overall. Question 6. Which of the following would most likely be an issue for Jane if it were true for her? So Jane has never attended a professional development workshop before. B, Jane prefers not to work weekends and has limited availability on Saturdays. C, Jane is experienced in integrating technology but does not have any professional references. And D, Jane does not have a bachelor's degree in education but has extensive experience in teaching. So if you read up here, based on this, I would go with question 6 here. B, Jane prefers not to work weekends and has limited availability on Saturday. So the job requires candidates to be available for weekend workshops, which would be an issue for Jane if she prefers not to work weekends. Then we've got the next part. Use the table directly below to answer the next 6 questions. We've got another table, which is the school risk management strategies and outcomes. We've got here the risk management strategies, the number of implementations, success rate, associated costs, potential risk mitigated. And then we've got here on the left, teacher safety training, regular safety inspections, emergency evacuation drills, liability insurance coverage, and cybersecurity for student data. So you can go through and just read all of this that's on the table. I'm going to go straight to question 7. So which risk management strategy has the highest success rate in a school environment? We've got A, teacher safety training, B, regular safety inspections, C, cybersecurity for student data, and D, emergency evacuation drills. So based on what I can see here from the table, I'm going to go with D, emergency evacuation drills. And that's because emergency evacuation drills have the highest success rate. Highest success rate at 92%, which is here, this column. Okay, so I'm going to go with D. Okay, now question 8. If a school has the budget and wants to minimize data breaches, which strategy would they prioritize? A, teacher safety training, B, emergency evacuation drills, C, regular safety inspections, and D, cyber security for student data. Again, I'm going to go with D, because if a school has the budget and wants to minimize data breaches, they will want to invest in cybersecurity for student data. So it just makes the most sense. So question 9, which strategy is least cost effective considering both the success rate and associated costs for a school? So let's go back up here. So I'm going to go with answer D, liability insurance coverage, and that's because liability insurance coverage has a high associated cost at $80,000 and relative to its success rate, which is 85%, making it the least cost-effective strategy when both cost and effectiveness are considered. Now, question 10. Which strategy should a school prioritize if they are most concerned about mitigating the fire hazards and ensuring building compliance? So if you're looking up here, fire hazards, so regular safety inspections. So I'm going to go with B. Regular safety inspections specifically targets fire hazards and building compliance, making them the most appropriate strategy for addressing these concerns. Okay, so question 10 is B. The next one, question 11. Which strategy should a school implement if their primary concern is ensuring classroom safety and compliance with educational standards? So A, teacher safety training, B, regular safety inspections, C, emergency evacuation drills, and D, liability insurance coverage. So I'm going to go with A, teacher safety training, as teacher safety training is focused on ensuring classroom safety in compliance with educational standards, which is critical for maintaining a safe learning environment. Okay, so 11 is A. Okay, the next one is question 12. If a school's primary concern is protecting student data, which strategy would they most likely choose? So we've got A, B, C, and D, teacher safety training, regular safety inspections, cybersecurity for security data, and emergency evacuation drills. So anything for protecting student data would be cybersecurity for student data. This one here. And that is to maintain and protect student data, and it's the most appropriate strategy for protecting IT and student data. And it also fits within a medium budget at 40,000. So if at any point that I'm going a little bit too fast or you need some time to read over it, please just pause the video, read through the information provided, and then we can go through it again together. So continuing on, read the following document to answer the next 5 questions. So we've got the school policy document, which is the classroom and campus guidelines. 1, lesson plan submission. All teachers are required to submit their lesson plans for the upcoming week by Friday at 3 p.m. This allows the administration to review and provide feedback on the content, ensuring that the lessons align with the school's educational standards and curriculum goals. Teachers should include objectives, activities, and assessments for each day in the submissions. Number 2, reporting incidents of bullying. Teachers must report any incidents of bullying to the school administration within 24 hours. Immediate reporting is crucial to ensure that the issue is addressed promptly and effectively. The school prioritizes the safety and well-being of all students and aims to resolve bullying situations quickly to prevent further harm. 3, mobile phone usage. Students are required to turn off their mobile phones and keep them out of sight during class time. This policy is designed to minimize distractions and maintain a focused learning environment. Any student found using their phone during class may have their device confiscated until the end of the school day. Number 4, staff meeting attendance. All teachers are expected to attend staff meetings, including those scheduled after school hours. The attendance is mandatory to ensure that all staff members are informed about school policies, upcoming events, and other important issues. Teachers who are unable to attend must notify the administration in advance and provide a valid reason for their absence. And lastly, number 5, lunch break policy. Students in Year 10 and above are permitted to leave school grounds during lunch breaks, provided they have written permission from a parent or guardian. This policy in place to offer older students a greater degree of independence while ensuring that the school maintains responsibility for their well-being. So, question 13. According to the school policy, why must teachers submit their lesson plans by Friday at 3 p.m.? So, what we just read through, this section here. This allows the administration to review and provide feedback on the content, ensuring that the lessons align with the school's educational. Yep. So that one is question A. Okay, so the school policy explicitly states that lesson plans must be submitted by Friday to allow time for the administration to review and provide feedback to ensure alignment with educational standards. Question 14. What is the primary reason for the school's policy on reporting incidents of bullying within 24 hours? A, to give teachers time to gather evidence. B, to prevent potential legal issues for the school. C, to ensure that bullying is addressed promptly and effectively. And D, to allow the administration time to notify parents. So based on the information above, it is answer C. To ensure that bullying is addressed promptly and effectively, the policy emphasizes the importance of immediate reporting to address and resolve bullying issues, quickly ensuring student safety. Question 15. Why does the school require students to turn off and store their mobile phones during class time? A, to ensure that students use school-issued devices instead. To prevent cheating during exams. C, to to protect students' privacy during school hours to allow for better focus, and D, to reduce distractions and maintain a focused learning environment. So the best fitted answer is D, to reduce distractions and maintain a focused learning environment. And that is because the policy is designed to minimize distractions during class by requiring students to keep their phones turned off and out of sight. Okay, so question 16. Teachers are required to attend all staff meetings, including those held after school hours. Is this true or false? So based on the information that we previously read, it is true. Okay, so the policy states that attendance at staff meetings, including those after hours, is mandatory unless the teacher has provided a valid reason for their absence. So I would mark it as true. Now, question 17. Students in Year 9 are allowed to leave school grounds during lunch breaks if they have written permission from a parent or guardian. We know this to be false because the policy specifies that only students in Year 10 and above are allowed to leave school grounds during lunch breaks with parental permission, not Year 9 students. Okay, let's read the following dialogue to answer the next 5 questions. The dialogue is a discussion in the teacher's lounge. So the characters are Miss Jackson, a senior English teacher with 15 years of experience, Miss Lee, a first-year mathematics teacher, Mr. Lee, a first-year mathematics teacher, Miss Carter, the school's guidance counsellor, and Principal Thompson, the principal of the school. So this is the dialogue between them. Miss Jackson, Mr. Lee, how are you finding your first year of teaching? It can be quite overwhelming at times. Mr. Lee, it's definitely been a challenge, especially with the large class sizes and trying to manage classroom behaviour. I've been focusing on developing more engaging lesson plans, but I'm still struggling to keep all the students on task. Miss Carter, that's completely normal, Mr. Lee. Have you tried implementing some classroom management strategies? Sometimes just a few small changes can make a big difference. Mr. Lee, I've started using a point system for positive behaviour, but I'm not sure it's working as well as I hoped. Some students still seem disinterested. Miss Jackson, when I first started, I had similar issues. I found that connecting the material to the students' interests really helped. For instance, I relate math problems to real life scenarios that interest them, like sports games or video games. It takes some extra planning, but it's worth it. Principal Thompson, Mr. Lee, it sounds like you're on the right track. Keep refining your approach and don't hesitate to reach out to experienced teachers like Miss Jackson for advice. Remember, classroom management is a skill that develops over time. Miss Carter, also don't forget the resources we have here at school. We offer professional development workshops on classroom management and student engagement. Attending one of these might give you some fresh ideas. Then Mr. Lee responds, I'll definitely look into that. Thank you for all the support. It's reassuring to know I'm not alone in this. And then Principal Thompson ends with, you're doing a great job, Mr. Lee. Just keep at it and remember that we're all here to help each other. Now, this is a real life teaching discussion that I've had many, many times. So this could definitely come up. Question 18. Mr. Lee believes that all his students are fully engaged in his lessons. True or false? Based on what we just read, it's false. Mr. Lee mentions that some students still seem disinterested, indicating that not all students are fully engaged in his lesson. Based on the dialogue, what is Mr. Lee's main concern as a first-year teacher? So question 19, is it developing lesson plans, managing classroom behaviour, grading assignments, or communicating with parents? So we can see from the dialogue above that it was managing classroom behaviour, as Mr. Lee explicitly states that he's struggling with maintaining and managing classroom behaviour, which is his main concern. Okay, so that one would be B. Then we've got question 20. What advice does Miss Jackson give Mr. Lee to help with his classroom management? A, she suggests using a point system for positive behaviour. B, connect the material to the student's interests. C, attend professional development workshops. And D, increase the difficulty of the lesson plans. Miss Jackson gives the following advice, and that would be to connect the material to the student's interests, which is answer B. So question 21. Which of the following can be inferred about Principal Thompson's attitudes towards Mr. Lee's situation? So A, he is supportive and offers encouragement. B, he's disappointed in Mr. Lee's performance. C, he believes Mr. Lee needs to attend more workshops. And D, he thinks Mr. Lee should change his career. So based on the information that we read, he's supportive and offers encouragement. Principal Thompson offers encouragement and reassures Mr. Lee that he's on the right track, indicating a supportive attitude. Now we're looking at question 22. What resource does Ms. Carter suggest that Mr. Lee utilize to improve his classroom management skills? A, one-on-one mentoring sessions with senior teachers. B, professional development workshops. And C, online teaching forums. D, parent-teacher conferences. So again, based on the information that we read, it is answer B, professional development workshops. Ms. Carter suggests that Mr. Lee attend professional development workshops on classroom management and student engagement to gain fresh ideas. So now we're going to read the teacher duty timetable below to answer the following 4 questions. So here we have a school teacher schedule. I'm not going to go through the schedule. I'm just going to let you pause the video if need be and have a look at it. Here you go. And I'm going to go straight to question 23. So what is Miss Parker's duty during the 12 to 12:45 period? It is B, a lunch duty. And we can see that Miss Parker's schedule shows that she's assigned to the lunch duty during the periods 12 to 12:45. Okay. Beautiful. And you can see here that we've actually got the correct answers listed already because it's pretty straightforward. You're just reading it off the table as you would normally. And 24, which teacher has field duty during the last period of the day? And you can see it's Mr. Andrew. Field duty, which is the last period of the day. Right? And then we've got 25. Who was responsible for recess duty during the time 11 to 11:45 period? 11:45, recess duty. It is Miss Parker. So, A here. 26, which period does Mr. Wilson have prep time? And if we have a look, Mr. Wilson, where is he, Mr. Wilson? Prep time here, 10 to 10:45. So again, pretty straightforward with that one. Now we're going to read the flowchart below to answer the following 6 questions. So the flowchart is school intervention guidelines. 1 is behavioral issues. Step 1, classroom teacher. Step 2, guidance counselor. And step 3, vice principal. Step 4 is the principal. Number 2, health problems. Step 1 would be classroom teacher. Step 2, school nurse. Step 3, parent guardian. Step 4, principal if serious. Emergencies, fire alarms, and substitute teacher guidelines. Again, I'm just going to leave it paused here. You can have a read through, and I'm going to go straight into the questions. So question 27, if a student has a health problem that is serious, who is the final person that the classroom teacher should contact according to the flowchart? So we can see from the table above, it is D, the principal. The principal would be the last person according to the flowchart. If a health problem is serious, the final contact person is the principal. As you can see, there is quite a bit of reading, so you do just want to answer the question as quick as possible and move on to the next one. You don't want to be spending much time trying to figure out what the answer is. Just pick the best one that suits and move on to the next. So question 28, what should a classroom teacher first do in case of a fire alarm? Okay, looking at the information above, it is evacuate the building. Okay, as soon as there's a fire, you evacuate the building. Now, answer A. Okay, so that's what the flow chart specifies, that for a fire alarm situation, the teacher evacuates the building. And question 29, when dealing with behavioural issues, who is the second person to be involved after the classroom teacher? And when looking at the flow chart, it is the vice principal. The flow chart shows that for behavioural issues, the classroom teacher should contact the vice principal after the guidance counsellor. Question 30, in an emergency situation, who does the classroom teacher contact after notifying the school office? So we've got A, vice principal, B, emergency services, C, principal, and D, parent guardian. So I would go with B, emergency services. And that's because the flow chart indicates that the classroom teacher should then contact emergency services in an emergency situation. Okay. Then we have question 31. For substitute teachers arrangements, who's involved right before the principal in the process? We've got classroom teacher, vice principal, substitute teacher coordinator, and the school nurse. So based on the flow chart, we're going to go with the substitute teacher coordinator, and that's because that's the third contact person in the flow chart, and it's the substitute teacher coordinator. That's just what it says here. Okay. Then we've got question 32. According to the intervention guidelines, who is the final person the teacher contacts when a student exhibits behavioural issues? And that is the principal. The classroom teacher should contact the principal after exhausting all other resources. Okay, now we're up to this section here. So read the text passage below to answer the questions 33 to 36. Okay, so I'm going to read the following passage. You're more than welcome to pause the video and read it on your own, or we can read it together. Let's get into it. So the world of art. In the quiet moments of a busy classroom, Mrs. Huffman introduced us to the colourful world of art. She spoke of vibrant landscapes and still lifes that seemed to breathe life into the dull classroom walls. Each brushstroke told a story, each colour sang a song. As we dipped our brushes into paint, we learned not just about techniques, but about the emotions that art could evoke. Mrs. Huffman described the fiery reds and cool blues used by famous artists to express their deepest feelings and moments in history. Art is like a window to the soul, she would say, guiding our small hands across paper as if we were creating our own masterpieces. We learned about the great painters who could turn a blank canvas into a scene brimming with emotion and action. Our class project was to create a mural depicting our town's history, which taught us about teamwork and the importance of each person's contribution. As we worked together, our mural became a tapestry of colours, each section a testament to the students who painted it. Art became a language we all spoke fluently, understanding that even a single line could convey joy or sadness. Mrs. Huffman showed us that art wasn't just about what we see, but how it makes us feel. By the end of the semester, our classroom was transformed into a gallery of young minds' expressions, each piece a reflection of a student's journey through the world of art. Okay, so question 33. What does Mrs. Huffman compare art to help students understand its impact? A, a battle cry, B, a songbird, C, a window to the soul, and D, a mirror to our own reflection. So I'm going to go with answer C, and that's because Mrs. Huffman uses the metaphor of a window to the soul to describe art's ability to offer a view into the soul, illustrating its emotional depth. Okay, so C here. There we go. Question 34. Which emotion is directly mentioned as being expressed through the colours in the passage? A, anger, B, sadness, C, happiness, and D, tranquility. So she mentions in the passage anger. She discusses the fiery reds often associated with strong emotions, which can include anger. Question 35. What was the primary purpose of the class mural project according to the passage? So A, to learn about historical events, B, to compete with other classes, C, to explore different painting techniques, and D, to teach teamwork and collaboration. So based on what we read previously, D, to teach teamwork and collaboration. Just highlight it. And that's because the mural project was to highlight a means to teach students about teamwork and the importance of contributions from every individual. Question 36. How did the students' understanding of art change by the end of the semester? A, they could paint like famous artists. B, they saw it as a way to express feelings. C, they preferred digital art over traditional methods. D, they understood that art is only about visual beauty. So I'm going to go with B, they saw it as a way to express feelings. And that's just because by the end of the semester, students learn that art is not just visual, but an emotional language and capable of expressing joy or sadness. Okay, so I'm going to read the email from the teacher to a parent to complete questions 37 to 40. Again, you can pause the video and read it by yourself, or we can read it together. So let's get into it. The subject is update on your child's progress in art class. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to share some updates about your child, Jamie's progress in our homeroom art project this semester. Jamie has shown remarkable enthusiasm and creativity in recent projects, particularly in our group mural assignment, where they contributed significant ideas that enhance the overall design. Jamie's ability to use colour to express emotion is increasingly evident. For instance, they used vibrant shades of orange and blue in their last project, which vividly brought out the themes of warmth and serenity in their artwork. This shows a deepening understanding of how colours can convey different feelings and messages, which is crucial in artistic expression. I believe with continued support and encouragement, Jamie can further develop his skills and possibly explore more complex techniques. I would love to discuss this further with you during our upcoming parent-teacher conference next week. Please let me know if there's a specific time that works best for you. Thank you for your continued support at home. It truly makes a significant difference in Jamie's learning journey. Warm regards, Miss Linda Carter, 4th grade teacher, Springfield Elementary. Okay, so let's look at question 37. Which phrase has the closest meaning to remarkable as used in the email? A, noticeable, B, ordinary, C, unacceptable, and D, variable. So I would choose A, noticeable, as remarkable in the context of the email highlights Jamie's exceptional or noticeable enthusiasm and creativity in art class. Now we have question 38. Which word should the teacher use to complete the sentence? Jamie's ability to use colour to, emotion is increasingly evident. A, destroy, B, mask, C, ignore, and D, convey. So if you were to try all of these answers, the best one that fits is convey, D. So Jamie's ability to use colour to convey emotion is increasingly evident. So I would go with D. So next one is question 39. True or false? The teacher mentions that Jamie's artwork lacks clarity in expressing themes. So from what we read, I would say that's false, as the teacher positively comments on Jamie's ability to express themes through colour, noting an improvement, not a lack of clarity. Again, these are all reading comprehension questions, so you need to be able to read the information and comprehend what's happening. The next one is a grammar question. So question 40, select the word that correctly completes the sentence. I believe with continued support and encouragement, Jamie can further develop his A, criticism, B, skills, C, disinterest, and D, limitations. And with this one, I'm going to go with skills, B. Again, the context of the email focuses on Jamie's development and growth in art, making skills the appropriate word to complete the sentence. So for those following this whole time, I really, really congratulate you. It's a lot of reading, but you're doing really, really well. And we're almost at the end. We have a few more topics to get through. So let's just keep pushing through. And I promise you, you'll be so grateful by the end. So read the passage below and study the graph bar underneath to answer the questions 41 to 44. So I'm just going to read through this quickly. High school graduation percentages by socioeconomic data. Over the past decade, high school graduation rates have shown a positive trend in meeting the Australian target goal of an 80% graduation rate. Starting in 2013, the graduation percentage was notably below target at 65%, equating to approximately 3,250 students graduating out of an estimated cohort of 5,000. Over the years, concerted efforts to improve educational outcomes for students across various socioeconomic backgrounds have gradually increased the percentage. By 2018, the rate nearly met the target with a 79 graduation rate, translating to about 3,950 students. The significant milestone was surpassed in 2020 with an 81% graduation rate, and by 2023, the rate reached 88%, which means approximately 4,400 students graduated, significantly above the target goal. So here's the bar graph, the high school graduation rates by year. So you can see here it says number of students graduated from 2013 on to 2023, and you can see it has increased over time. So question 41. What year did the graduation rate first meet the Australian target of an 80% graduation rate? So when we have a look, this is the line, that's the 80% target. And we can see it did meet it at the year 2020, so D. Okay, the next one. Question 42, how many students graduated in 2015? So if we have a look here, 2015, it's approximately 3,500, so B. So approximately 3,500 students graduated. See that there. Question 43, how many more students graduated in 2023 than 2013? And 2023. So you can see there it was over, and this one's quite significantly under. And I'm going to go with B, 1,150 students, and that's because 1,150 students more graduated into 2023 than in 2013, according to the data presented in the text. So you can also use the text that's provided as well, okay, which is here. We've got question 44. Which statement best describes the trend in graduation rates from 2013 to 2023? A, the rates fluctuated significantly. B, the rates consistently decreased. C, the rates gradually increased. And D, the rates remained constant. So we can see from the table, from the graph, that the rates gradually increased. So we're going to go with C. Here, the data shows a positive trend when graduation rates increased from 65% in 2013 to 88% in 2023. Okay, so question 45. This is a punctuation question. Choose the sentence that uses commas correctly for a formal writing context. A, before the school day begins, I check my email, review the lesson plans, and prepare the classroom. B, before the school day begins, I check my email, review the lesson plans, and prepare the classroom. C, before the school day begins, I check my email, review the lesson plans, and prepare the classroom. D, before the school day begins, I check my email, review the lesson plans, and prepare the classroom. So the correct answer is D. And that's because, let me just highlight it. That's because this sentence correctly uses the commas to separate items in a list and after the introductory clause. So here's another grammar question. Question 46, identify the sentence that correctly uses the apostrophe. So A, the student's performance was the best yet. B, the student's performance was the best yet. C, the student's performances was the best yet. And D, the students' performance were the best yet. So just having a look at all of these, they look pretty similar, but the best one is A. This one. The students' performance was the best yet. The apostrophe is correctly used to show plural possession. So the students' with the apostrophe after the S, so belonging to the students. Question 47. This is a syntax and grammar question. Which option demonstrates proper subject-verb agreement? So A, each of the teachers write a report every semester. B, each of the teachers write a report every semester. C, each of the teachers writing a report every semester. And D, each of the teacher writes a report every semester. So again, very, very, very similar. And it can get quite confusing, but the correct answer is B. Each of the teachers writes a report every semester. This one here. So each is a singular subject, so the verb writes must be also singular to agree with it. Okay. Moving on, question 48. This is a spelling question. Select the word that best completes the sentence. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the meeting has been A, cancelled, B, cancel, C, cancelling, and D, cancel. So which of the following do you think is the correct answer? It is A, cancelled. Cancelled is the correct form of the verb in the past tense to complete this sentence. So it says here to read the following passage to answer questions 49 to 52. I'm just going to leave this on the page for you on the screen. You can just read through it yourself, and then we're just going to get straight into the questions. So question 49. What is the primary goal of the Ocean Pathways program at Harbourview Academy? A, to improve water quality through coastal cleanups. B, to integrate traditional Indigenous knowledge with modern marine biology. C, to teach students about traditional fishing techniques. And to D, to increase student engagement in science classes. So with this one, you can see it's answer B, to integrate traditional Indigenous knowledge with modern marine biology. And that's because the primary goal of the Ocean Pathways program is to combine traditional Indigenous seafaring knowledge with contemporary marine biology, as outlined in the curriculum description. Okay, everyone, we're almost done. Let's go. We're almost finished. Question 50. Which activity is not part of the students' semester project in the Ocean Pathways program? A, coastal cleanups. B, water quality testing. C, learning traditional fishing techniques. And D, deep sea fishing expositions. So just reading the passage, we know that they did not include deep sea fishing expositions. So we're going to highlight that one. It wasn't part of their semester project. So we know that that's the answer. Question 51. According to the passage, what significant outcome has Harbourview Academy's integrated curriculum achieved? A, a decrease in local marine pollution. B, an increase in the local fish population. C, enhanced student engagement and connection to the environment. And D, full restoration of local traditional fishing practices. So we know from the passage that it is C. Enhance student engagement and connection to the environment, because the passage states that the integrated curriculum has led to increased student engagement and a deeper connection to the local environment. And the last question for this passage, which statement accurately reflects the educational focus of Harbourview Academy as described in the passage? A, the school primarily uses traditional knowledge in its curriculum. B, the school's curriculum is focused mostly on scientific marine biology. C, the school prioritizes cultural heritage over scientific understanding. And D, the school blends traditional and contemporary knowledge in its curriculum. So we know, not reading the passage, that D is the answer. The school blends traditional and contemporary knowledge in its curriculum, and that's because Harborview Academy is described as using both traditional indigenous knowledge and contemporary scientific methods in its science curriculum, and emphasizing an integrated educational approach. Okay. So with this one, again, read the text passage below to answer the questions 53 to 57. I'm just going to leave this here on the screen. A semester at Sunset Hills High. Just going to read this one. You can pause it, read through it, and I'm going to go straight into the questions. So question 53. What was Emily's main perspective in her writings as described in the story? A, the importance of academic excellence. B, overcoming personal challenges. C, the impact of environmental conservation. And D, the role of technology in education. So if you've read the passage, then you will know that it's B, overcoming personal challenges. This one. And that's because Emily's writings frequently touch on themes of resilience and overcoming challenges, reflecting her own experiences with dyslexia. Moving on to question 54. Which literary element is most prominent in Emily's story about the young girl? A, irony. B, symbolism. C, metaphor. And D, allegory. So reading the passage above, we know that it's allegory. And that's because Emily's story about a young girl overcoming obstacles is an allegory, representing broader truths about her own life challenges and resilience. Question 55. How did Emily's view of her dyslexia change by the end of the story? A, she saw it as an unchangeable obstacle. B, she viewed it as a source of inspiration. C, she ignored it in her writing. D, she felt it was unrelated to her writing. So the answer is B. She viewed it as a source of her inspiration. And that's because Emily learned to embrace her dyslexia as part of her narrative voice and a source of inspiration, as detailed towards the end of the passage. Question 56. What setting is primarily reflected in Emily's essay as mentioned in the passage? A, a bustling cityscape. B, a remote desert. C, a coastal town. And D, an urban school environment. So I'm going to go with C. And that's because Emily's essays note that she often reflects her coastal town setting, emphasizing her connection to the sea and its influence in her life. Then we've got question 57. What tone does the story primarily convey through Emily's achievements? A, pessimistic. B, inspirational. C, humorous. And D, sarcastic. So we can see that through the tone of her story, it's quite inspirational. And that's because focusing on Emily's journey from struggle to success, and it showcases her achievements and personal growth. Okay, so now you're going to read through the World History timeline outline to answer questions 58 to 60. So I'm just going to leave this here for you to pause and read through. We've got the topics: 1, ancient civilizations; 2, Middle Ages; 3, early modern period; and 4, industrial revolution and modern era. And question 58, true or false? The Renaissance primarily occurred during the early modern period. True or false? And it's true. And that's because the Renaissance, characterized by a revival of classical knowledge and artistic achievement, occurred during the early modern period, specifically from the 14th to the 17th centuries, accurately aligning with the given time frame. That's what you can look up here. Question 59. Which event marks the beginning of the Middle Ages according to the timeline? A. Construction of the pyramids. B. Founding of the Roman Republic. C. Genghis Khan and Mongol expansion. And D. The Black Death. So we see from the timeline, it's D. The Black Death. And that's because the Black Death was a pivotal and devastating pandemic, occurred from 1347 to 1351, marking the start of the significant social and economic changes in Europe during the Middle Ages. And it also fits the timeline and context. We've got question 60. Who is associated with the discovery that marks the transition between the early modern period and the exploration of the Americas? A. Genghis Khan. B. Christopher Columbus. C. Julius Caesar. And D. Solomon the Magnificent. And the answer is B. Christopher Columbus. So Christopher Columbus's journey in 1492, which led to the contact between Europe and the Americas, is a key historical event making the period of global exploration and expansion during the early modern period. This journey is crucial in historical studies as it represents the beginning of extensive European exploration and colonization. We've got another literary text, which is Exploring Symbolism in The Great Gatsby, to answer questions 61 to 65. Again, I'm just going to leave this here on the screen for you to read. And I'm going to go straight into the questions. Question 61. What does the green light symbolically represent in The Great Gatsby? A. Technological advancements. B. Gatsby's past love. C. The American dream and its unattainability. And D. Daisy's love for Gatsby. So reading this above, we know that it's C. The American dream and its unattainability, and that's because the green light symbolizes Gatsby's unattainable desires, particularly his dream of rekindling his romance with Daisy, which aligns with the broader themes of the American dream's elusiveness. Now we've got question 62. The Valley of Ashes primarily symbolizes which of the following? So A, the environmental impact of industrialization. B, the moral and social decay due to the pursuit of wealth. C, the geographical divide between East and West Egg. And D, Gatsby's hidden secrets. So reading the above, we know that it is B, the moral and social decay due to the pursuit of wealth. And that's because the Valley of Ashes is a direct representation of the degradation brought on by the excessive and reckless pursuit of wealth, which corrupts societal and moral values. Then we've got 63, question 63. Why do the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckleburg best symbolize in the novel A, traditional oversight in the 1920s, B, the watchful eyes of a higher power, C, the loss of spiritual values in favor of materialism, and D, the healthcare system of the era? So we know that it's answer C, the loss of spiritual values in favor of materialism, and that's because the eyes on the billboard symbolize the overlooking of traditional moral values in the rampant materialistic pursuit of the era. We've got question 64. How does Fitzgerald use a symbol of the Valley of Ashes to contrast characters in the novel? A, by depicting the different weather patterns experienced by the rich and the poor. B, by showing the physical journey characters must take between social classes. C, by highlighting the socio-economic disparities between characters. And D, by comparing the natural landscapes preferred by various characters. So again, reading the above, we know that is answer C, by highlighting the socio-economic disparities between characters. The Valley of Ashes symbolizes the stark differences in the living conditions and opportunities available to the different social classes in the novel. We made it to the end. Question 65. Which theme is reinforced by the symbolism of the eyes of the Doctor, T.J. Ecclesburg, overlooking the Valley of Ashes? A. The inevitability of aging. B. The corruption within political systems. C. The importance of family values. And D. The decay of the American dream. So we can see that it is D, the decay of the American dream. That's because the imagery of the eyes overlooking a wasteland comments on the erosion of the American dream in a society obsessed with material success, yet lacking in genuine happiness and ethical values. Okay, everyone, we made it to the end of your practice LANTITE test for reading. I really hope that this helps. And if you take the test and you actually sit down and do it, and you will see that you will get results time and time again from actually sitting down, practicing these questions, even just using a timer to see how fast you can go and how much time that you have left after you've done each question. It really does help in getting you prepared for the LANTITE test. I'll see you in the next video.